Can you hear me now? There we go. There we go. We're good. We made it work. We're back with sound. So welcome to another week. Like week 400 or something. I don't know. We've been doing this a while. Slight change of background this evening. If you noticed, I've found a different corner of my house to broadcast from. I'm also dishevelled this week. I think would be the polite term. I put no care into my appearance today. So this. We're going to blitz through tonight's quiz quite quickly because I've been enjoying the sunshine in the garden with my friends all day, and I've had a number of imbibements thus forth presently. And so I want this over and done with very quickly. So this won't be our finest week. We'll just put this in the bin of one of those weeks where Alan didn't try very hard. And we'll try again next week. Some news. I spoke to Zaf at the Windsor. Those of you that know the Windsor, those of you that are from the Windsor originally, which is on which this quiz is based, he thinks that we're a few months away probably from them getting permission to have what they call entertainment in pubs, which means no quizzes at the pub for the foreseeable future. As soon as I know more, I'll let you know more. But it looks like we'll be doing a few more of these, certainly probably for most of July, and then we'll see what happens in August. Yeah. So tonight there are only 4 rounds this evening. We've ditched the pitch round because, as I said, imbibements. Is that the correct term? Is that the plural? Is it to imbibe? Is it one imbibement, 2 imbibements? I don't know. Anyway. So there's no pitch round this evening. There's also no scores because I didn't start doing this because, as I said, I was in the garden with my friends till about 7:10, and I realised it was going to take me about over an hour to mark the scores because of all of the words from the Scrabble round, and I didn't have time. It's just simple as that. I had to put the graphics together for the rest of the quiz. So it's not our finest hour. This evening the rounds are connections as always. We open with the connections round. Then after connections we have another round, and then following that round we have round 3, and then after that there's a round. So so we'll get started in a moment. We're going to try and get through the quiz pretty quickly this evening, as I said. So we'll give it just another few minutes for people to arrive, another minute or so. Before we crack on. Good. How was everyone's collective weeks? Just seeing if I'm getting any beratement on the old message stuffs. Looks pretty good. No one's yelling at me just yet. It's a good sign. So, okay, right. Well, we're going to get started now. Then we're going to blitz through. There'll be no break this evening. So if you want a cigarette, take your laptop out with you, and we're going to get started with the first round, which is going to be connections. I'm going to ask you 9 general knowledge questions. The answer to question 10 being what's the connection between the previous 9 answers. So that's round 1 for you. So question 1. In 1994, who founded the TV production company Ginger Productions? That's in 1994. Who founded the TV production company Ginger Productions? Question 2. Often referred to by the initials TNG, what was the subtitle of the series of Star Trek that was originally broadcast between 1987 and 1993? That's often referred to by the initials TNG. What was the subtitle of the series of Star Trek that was originally broadcast between 1987 and 1993? Yeah, sorry, Mar. So, question one was in 1994, who founded the TV production Ginger Productions? That's in 1994, who founded the TV production company Ginger Productions? That was question one. There's this connections round as well, so if you get all of the connections, it should give you a link. Question 10. Question 3. Question 3. Which Australian city hosted the 2018 Commonwealth Games? That's which Australian city hosted the 2018 Commonwealth Games. Mum, just if you're joining us this week, late as it seems, not very punctual, are you? There's no picture round this week, there's no scores, and there's no answers, because I didn't want to. So, there we go. Yeah. So, yeah. Good. That was question 3 there. Which Australian city hosted the 2018 Commonwealth Games? Question 4. Which 2020 ITV series starred Matthew McFadden as Major Charles Ingram? That's which 2020 ITV series starred Matthew McFadden as Major Charles Ingram? I saw the play of this. It was fantastic. Very good. I mean, the TV show was good as well, but the play was exceptional. Question 5. What's the national fruit of both India and Pakistan? That's what is the national fruit of both India and Pakistan? Tequin Wittock. Yeah, that is a good answer, that. Also, hello, Chris. Has anyone been to the pub yet? Anyone in the comments want to tell me if you've been off to a pub? It's been legal now for what, nearly 48 hours. I'm sure some of you have visited establishments of iniquity. Yes, Andy, I'm fully aware that you've been to a pub. I was also there. Question 6. Who sang with the group Clean Bandit on their 2017 #1 hit single Symphony? Let me be your symphony. What a tune. Who sang with the group Clean Bandit on their 2017 #1 hit single Symphony? I think the Pentatonics did a fantastic cover of this as well. Some a cappella group did. I think it was the Pentatonics, but someone did. Very good. I don't know why I'm making guns. Boom, 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 boom. It's been a long day. Question 6. Who sang with the group Clean Bandit on their 2017 #1 hit single Symphony? Question 8. Remember, there's a connection between these answers, so you're looking for a connection between all of the answers so far. Question 7. How is the character of John Kramer more commonly known in a series of horror films? That's how is the character of John Kramer more commonly known in a series of horror films? This cable's really annoying. I need like a cable tie system, like to make it white so it hides into the wall. It's going up to a speaker. There's a speaker here which you can't see. Cable systems. That's what we talk about on this channel. I need to move quicker. 12 minutes of the first round. No, 7 minutes of the first round. Okay, fine. In 19 1936, who ended a trend of Time magazine naming Man of the Year for 9 consecutive years to become the first Woman of the Year? That's in 1936, who ended a trend of Time magazine naming Man of the Year for 9 consecutive years to become its first Woman of the Year? Let me be your symphony. Question 9. Which group had a hit single in 1980 with Oops Upside Your Head? That's which group had a hit single in 1980 with Oops Upside Your Head? And your question 10 is, what's the connection between the previous 9 answers? So I'll press that in a second. I'll just leave that on screen for a minute longer. But your question 10 is going to be, what is the connection between the previous 9 answers? There we go, question 10. What's the connection between the previous 9 answers? Okay, then that brings us to the end of the first round. Very quickly, if anyone needs any repeats, pop the question numbers in the chat. Pretty sharpish. And I can do repeats. Otherwise, we're going to move straight in and do our second round, which I think is called high fives, if I remember correctly. So I'll explain that when I get there. But just wait for a second to see if there's any repeats needed here. It looks like no, which is good. So our next round is called high fives. I'm going to ask you 2 questions, to which there are 5 answers to each. Can I repeat question 2, please? Yes, I can. So question two of that round was, often referred to by the initials TNG, what is the subtitle of the series of Star Trek that was originally broadcast between 1987 and 1993? So that's a repeat of question 2. So move on. This second round, high fives. I'm going to ask you 2 questions. Each question has 5 answers. I believe each answer has 5 letters as well. But when the questions come up, I'll clarify that. But I think it's 5 answers to each round, and I think each answer has 5 letters. So this is the next round, which I believe is high fives. So let's press this button and see what happens. Round 2. Look at that, high fives. There we go. Nanja said she scrolled down on her laptop and she said, "You've gone and your head is chopped off." I don't really know what that means, Archie. Sorry, you're going to have to fix that one. Anyway, so high fives. So question 11, which is the answer to this question. It'll be 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15, and then the next one will be. So yeah, so this has 5 answers. So this will be one thing. So question 11. No, that's not right. That's not right at all. There you go. Okay. Bear with me one And we're back. Okay, so question 11. Not including Stoke. Which has the full name Stoke-on-Trent? Name the 5 cities in England that have exactly 5 letters in their name. So that's not including Stoke, which has the full name of Stoke-on-Trent. Name the 5 cities in England that have exactly 5 letters in their name. So this is the answers to this. It's answer 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15. You're looking for 5 answers here on your sheets. So I'll give you a minute or so with that one. Let me be your symphony. So you might wish to write that down before it disappears from the screen if you're working on it for a little bit longer. You've obviously got until the end of the quiz to come up with all of the answers. So we'll move on and we'll do question. This will say question 12, but it's part 2 of this round. So the answers to this will be questions 16, 17, 18, 19 and 20. There you go, I can count. It's been a long day. So the second part of this question, high fives round, is name the 5 most populated countries with exactly 5 letters in their name. So that's name the 5 most populated countries with exactly 5 letters in their name. That's part 2 of this. So between these 2 answers, it's 10 questions. Between these 2 questions, there are 10 answers to the round. And that's all of this high fives round. So I'll give you a minute or so with that before we go on and do our next round. Our next round, I believe, is sport, specifically tennis. I'm going to ask you 10 questions about tennis stars. I'll explain that one in a second. We've got a little bit of time to catch up on here because I had to do some stuff. So I pulled the wrong frame into this software. That's why a question from last week appeared instead of this week. That'll happen after a few of these. That'll happen. Okay then, so that is the end of our second round, high fives. Obviously you can keep on working on your answers to those while we go. Our next round, I'm going to give you the nicknames of 10 tennis players. And I would like you to tell me the real name of that tennis player. So really simple, I'm going to give you their nicknames. And I want you to tell me who the tennis player actually is. What was too quick? That round, that's why I said maybe write them down. I can put them back up again. So the first one was not including Stoke, which has the full name Stoke-on-Trent. Name the 5 cities in England that has exactly 5 letters in their name. Maybe scribble that down so you've all got it when it disappears, because obviously you might want to work on this and keep thinking about it for a minute, but I'm not going to leave this up for the next half an hour. And then 2 was name the 5 most populated countries with exactly 5 letters in their names. So yeah, it might be helpful to jot those 2 down. So you can keep thinking about them for the rest of the quiz. But that was the 2 parts of round 2. So round 3 is going to be tennis nicknames. So I'm going to give you the nicknames of tennis players, and I want you to give me their real names. So question 21. The Swiss Maestro. That's the Swiss Maestro. So that's the nickname of which tennis player? '22. Fraulein Forehand. So Fraulein Forehand was the nickname of which tennis player? 23. 23. The Great Dane was the nickname of which tennis player? Oh, hey Danny. Hello from the tube. Danny was over today. We were watching the Formula One. It was a very... Did anyone watch the Formula One? Very good race. Very good race. The last 15 or 20 minutes were exceptional. Very much enjoyed that. 24. Question 24. The King of Clay. Whose nickname is the King of Clay? Let me be your symphony. Question 25. Whose nickname is Super Brat? That's whose nickname was Super Brat. Or is Super Brat. They might still be playing. It's really hot in this corner. I'm in my room, but I'm in the corner of my room where my desk is, and I've got the light very close to me, and the curtain's closed. It's very hot. I'm beating up a little bit here. Sweating like a Weight Watcher in a cake shop. Question 26. Whose tennis nickname is the Siberian Siren? I had to make sure that wasn't... You look like you need a cuddle. Thanks, Sam. I do need a cuddle. I do. That's what I need. And a night's sleep. And to stop going on bike rides with Dom that kill me for days afterwards. And to probably stop drinking so much tequila in the middle of the afternoon. All of those things, I think, would be useful. I think all of those things. Question 27. Whose tennis nickname is the Crocodile? Whose tennis nickname is the Crocodile? Thanks, Ma. Does spelling count? Oh no. If I can read it, it's fine. Although, you should know how to spell that one. Not that I want to give you clues for the answer, but... This person is very famous. Question 28. Whose tennis nickname is the Serbinator? We have a housemate called Seb, the person who cut my hair. It normally looks better than this. I'm dishevelled today, as I mentioned. But he's a very good hairdresser. And we call him the Sebinator. So it's a bit like the Serbinator. What's funny about if I can read it? If I know what you meant, it's good. It's all good. That's all we need here. It's the gist. I'm a very lenient quizmaster, although not if I'm in the pub. At the Windsor, after a couple of bottles of wine, I'm not very lenient at all. But here, remotely, I tend towards leniency. 29. Whose tennis nickname is the Las Vegas Kid? Whose tennis nickname is the Las Vegas Kid? And question 30, the last question this round. Whose tennis nickname is Miss Swiss? It's a mixture of men and women. Yeah. Miss Swiss would be weird if it was a man, wouldn't it? But yes, it's a mix of both men and women. Okay then, that brings us to the end of the tennis round. So I'll give you a minute or so to catch up on those last two. We rattled through those last two pretty quickly. So I'll just give you a minute or so just to pull your heads together before we go on to what will be our final round this evening. There are only 4 rounds this evening. There is no picture round. And the final round is I don't know. No, I do. It's television and film. Television and film. I'm going to ask you 10 questions about the television and the film. So about those two, specifically the one single television and one single film. That's what I'm going to ask you about. Television I used to have in my bedroom. It's black and white with a little twisty knob. And the film is the original version of To Kill a Mockingbird. So that's what's coming. Those are the 10 questions. None of that's true. It's general knowledge or general TV and film. That's what's going to happen. Okay, so it seems like no repeats or whatever. I'll also give you a few minutes at the end of the quiz just to go over all of your answers before I run through the answers. So we'll move on, I think. If everyone's happy, no one's stopping me yet. Don't stop me now, as they say. And we'll do round 4, which is TV and film. I'll give you some time at the end of the quiz to settle on all your answers. So don't worry too much about how fast we're going. You'll have some time before we submit. Did that say TV and film? I hope it said TV and film. So question 31. Each episode of which TV show began with a narrator saying, in 1972, a crack commando unit was sent to prison by a military court for a crime they didn't commit? That's each episode of which TV show began with a narrator saying, in 1972, a crack commando unit was sent to prison by a military court for a crime they didn't commit. Yeah, so just a reminder, we'll be here again next week. Probably slightly more put together than we are this week. This week's a bit of a write-off for us all, I think. And we'll be here certainly throughout July. And we'll sort of reevaluate our position at the end of July. But initial commitment now is we'll definitely be here to the end of July. And we'll see where we are after that. I know that obviously freedom is sort of returning. People can go out and stuff, so less numbers. And I start a job in a few, next week and stuff. So, the timer is for me to know when I want to leave, Mum. I want to get out of here in 28 minutes time, and go and sit in a friend's garden and drink some more tequila. That's what that's for. So just let me know to keep me on time, to keep me on pace. It's a bit like think of it like a metronome for a piano player. That's what I put that there for, to help me more than to help you guys. Make you all dread probably, but yeah. So we'll certainly do the next for the rest of July, and then we'll see where we are. I mean, we've done 15 of these now, so by the end of July we'll be nearing 20 of them, which is an awful lot. So we'll see where we are. But we're definitely gonna hang around for a few more weeks, and I'll let you guys know as soon as I know more about returning to pubs and whatnot. And I'll give you a few weeks' notice before we stop these, so we can all Question 32. In which Tim Burton film did actor Deep Roy, is that right? Yeah, okay. Play 165 different people? That's in which Tim Burton film did actor Deep Roy play 165 different people? That sounds like a porn star, doesn't it, Deep Roy? Definitely sounds like... Yeah, that's what I'm going to go for there. Question 33. Here we go. Settle in for this one. There'll definitely be mistakes. Broadcast on June the 12th, 2020, Can You Hear Me was an episode of which British TV show, which was filmed during the coronavirus pandemic and is thought to be the first ever episode of a soap opera to be filmed by cast members from their homes using only mobile devices. And he got through it in one. I'm a pro. That is professional. That's what that was. Can you do it twice in a row? This is what I did last time. I bragged after I read it well, and then it went to shit. So we'll try again. Broadcast on June the 12th, 2020, Can You Hear Me was an episode of which British TV soap, which was filmed during the coronavirus pandemic and is thought to be the first ever episode of a soap opera to be filmed by cast members from their homes using only mobile devices. All it took was 14 weeks, people. All it took was 14 weeks for me to learn how to read. We've made it. We've done it. I'm a pro. I've graduated. So, I don't want to brag, but I'm what's this doing here? This is blocking lots of stuff, isn't it? I mean, I said I was a pro. And then that happened. So I take it back, I guess. Oh, and then the light turned on and ruined my... There we go. Well, that was predictable. It's like a freaking Benny Hill sketch in here. Except there's not enough naked ladies. Right, question 34. Which of the following films was set during World War One? A. Lawrence of Arabia. I nearly said Lawrence of Arabia. B. The Great Escape. Or C. Saving Private Ryan. Did it fall on a mockingbird? Why would it fall on a mockingbird? I don't get that joke. And I'm sure it's a joke, but I don't get it. Question 34. Which of the following films was set during World War One? Lawrence of Arabia, The Great Escape, or Saving Private Ryan? That was brilliant. Oh, Tequila. Tequila Mockingbird. No. Yeah. To be fair, I don't really know what's going on. There's like, there's chat and stuff. I'm trashing my room. I mean, there's just shit all over the floor. I mean, not actual shit. I don't keep shit in a little pencil case on my desk. That would be odd. But it's yeah, we've left the reservation. That's all I know. Question 34. Watched by over 80 million people in the USA when broadcast in 1993, One for the Road was the 271st and final episode of which TV show? That's watched by over 80 million people in the USA when broadcast in 1993, One for the Road was the 271st and final episode of which TV show? My hair is driving me mad. It's hot in this corner. I'm sort of beading up a little bit. I've mentioned that already. I'm repeating myself. Question 36. Starring Antonio Banderas and based on real-life events, the 2015 film The 33 was set in which country? That's starring Antonio Banderas and based on real events. The 2015 film The 33 was set in which country? You wouldn't think it's difficult to just read a teleprompter, but it is hard. It's not easy. Like, I can read ish, and it's just a lot harder than you think, because you've kind of got to be a few sort of words ahead, and I don't know. I struggle. You know, I have many struggles, and you know that's one of them. That's one of them. So, what can I say? How many people have turned off? Surprisingly, we've only lost 2 people during the last 40 minutes. I assumed we'd lose a lot more. I thought we'd lose a lot more. I mean, there's still a few minutes to go yet. So, question 37. The name of which actor can go before on gangs in Afghanistan and in search of pirates to give the titles of 3 TV documentary series? That's the name of which actor can go before on gangs in Afghanistan and in search of pirates to give the titles of 3 TV documentary series. It's going to take me ages to clean that up. Pens everywhere. You know, so many pens. Question 38. Which real-life singer did Joaquin Phoenix play in the 2005 film Walk the Line? That's which real-life singer did Joaquin Phoenix play in the 2005 film Walk the Line? I hear the train a-comin', it's rolling round the bend, and I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when. Just realised I wasn't singing the song Walk the Line then. I just gave everyone a massive clue because I'm singing a different song. That's awkward. Question 39. Question 39. The penultimate question. First broadcast in 1988 and remade in 2020, Talking Heads is a series of monologues written by which playwright? That's first broadcast in 1988 and remade in 2020, Talking Heads is a series of monologues written by which playwright? And your last question of this evening's quiz. Question 40. I promise next week will be more involved, but I didn't want to cancel this week, so we got a quiz light. So we got a light quiz. Question 40. Did you hear that? They shut down the main reactor. We'll be destroyed for sure. This is madness. Are the first lines spoken in the film Star Wars? Which character speaks them? Did you hear that? They shut down the main reactor. We'll be destroyed for sure. This is madness. These are the first lines spoken in the film Star Wars. Which character spoke them? So, that's all of the questions in tonight's quiz. From any of the rounds, does anyone need any repeats or clarifications on any questions? Pop them in the chat, question numbers, and I can go through and do repeats and clarifications. I'll give you a couple of minutes before I go through all the answers, so you've got a few minutes now. to just go through and make sure you got everything correct and ask for any clarifications or whatever. And then I'll go through the answers, 39 and 40. Well, 40 you can see, 40's still on the screen. Did you hear that? They shut down the main reactor. Will be destroyed for sure. This is madness. The first line spoken in the film Star Wars. Which character spoke them? 39, we go back one question. That is first broadcast in 1988 and remade in 2020. Talking Heads is a series of monologues written by which playwright? Those are repeats of 39 and 40. If anyone else needs any more repeats, pop them in the chat. I can go through them. Repeats many rounds as well, not just this round. We can go. This is a fancy gadget. I can go back to any question I like, including questions that don't exist, like question 16, which is blank, which is fun, isn't it? That was question 39. Put it back in question 40. About this hard them all together. So there we go. Those are the questions from the quiz. I'll give you guys about another minute or so to just clarify all your answers, work on those. The two top 5 questions that we were looking for. We were looking for not including Stoke, which has the full name Stoke-on-Trent. Name the 5 cities in England that have exactly 5 letters in their name. And then number 2 was name the 5 most populated countries with exactly 5 letters in their name. So those were the 2 long ones that you were looking for 5 answers apiece on. Okay then, and obviously there's some extra fields like the pitch around fields and the Scrabble fields. Just put X's or O's in there, whatever you like. Oh, that's funny. Only I know why that's funny because I've got the answers. But yeah, pop whatever you like in there, and then I'll when I'm marking them, obviously I won't include those fields in the answers next week. If you get answers next week, because who even knows with me? It's a mess, like my bedroom is currently. Okay, great. So let's do the answers, everyone. And I'm not sure you guys aren't happy. And I know this week went very quickly, and I know I sort of blitzed through it. But like I said, I've been having a really fun day. And actually, to be fair, I really didn't want to do this quiz at all. But I have a duty to you all. So I thought I'd give you a lightning quiz rather than nothing at all. So that's what we've got. But we'll be back to normal next week, I promise. We'll do a fully fledged quiz then. So the answers this week, if everyone has hit submit. Our first round was the connections round. So I asked you, in 1994, who founded the TV production company Ginger Productions? The correct answer was Chris Evans. TNG, in the subtitle of the Star Trek series, it stands for The Next Generation. The Australian city that hosted the 2018 Commonwealth Games was Gold Coast. I will accept the Gold Coast, but yeah, Gold Coast. 4. Matthew McFadden starred as Major Charles Ingram in Quiz, obviously based on the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire cheating scandal. The official fruit of both Pakistan and India is the mango. Who sung with Clean Bandit on their 2017 number 1 hit single Symphony? It was Zara Larsson, who I think also has a song called X's and O's, isn't she? Was that why? That's why I thought it was funny in my head, because when I said X's and O's, is that Zara Larsson that sings that? It might be. Anyway, Don will tell me in a moment. 7. How is the character of John Kramer more commonly known in a series of horror films? He's known as Jigsaw. Or Jigsaw Killer. I think I probably will accept Saw as well, to be fair. In 1936, who ended the trend of being a Man of the Year on the cover of Time magazine? It was Wallace Simpson in 1936. Who had a hit with Oops Beside Your Head in 1980? It was the Gap Band. And the connection is fashion retailers. Evans, Next, Coast, Quiz, Mango, Zara, Jigsaw, Wallace, and Gap. There we go. Our round 2 was the high fives round. So this was the round where you had 5. So your first one was not including Stoke, which has the full name Stoke-on-Trent. Name the 5 cities in England that have exactly 5 letters in their name. They are Derby, Leeds, Ripon, Truro, and Wells. That's Derby, Leeds, Ripon, Truro, and Wells. Ellie Devine did X's and O's on. Devine? Does that say Devine? I think it does. Anyway, don't know who that is. Name the 5 most populated countries with exactly 5 letters in their name. They are China, India, Japan, Egypt, and France. That's China, India, Japan, Egypt, and France. Our next round was television and film. In 1972, a crack commando unit was sent to prison by military court for a crime they didn't commit. It's the A-Team. Yeah, it does. I didn't write this question, but you are right. Yeah. Anyone know what number? Anyone know what another country with 5 letters in its name is? I didn't write this question. Don't tell me that I made it very clear to you all. I did not write this quiz this week. The quiz writer has written a mistake. Has written in a mistake. Spain. Spain's probably a good shout. Spain. Let's go with Spain. I will find out I'll find out the correct answer to that for next week. And mark everyone that put it correct as correct. But Spain's probably a good shout. But I'll make sure. Italy is the answer. That also makes a lot of sense. I will double check that, but yes, either of those makes good sense. It's definitely not France because that has 6 letters, as Brian very eagerly pointed out. I don't mean eagerly as in he was eager. I meant he was like an eagle. What's the word for that? Is there like a verb for being like an eagle? Anyway, where was I? I was in the TV. I was back in the TV round. Don't worry, we'll sort that one out for next week. All good. In which Tim Burton film did the actor Deep Roy play 165 different people? Did anyone get this? This is very good. It's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. He played all of the Oompa Loompas. That's a bit of almost like a trick question, that one. Yeah, Italy. Thanks, Sam. Yeah, I think if Andy says it's Italy, I'm inclined to believe him. Broadcast on June the 12th, 2020, Can You Hear Me? Was an episode of which British TV show that was filmed during the coronavirus pandemic, and it's thought to be the only episode of soap opera ever filmed by cast members at home using mobile devices. It was Doctors, and I bet it was fucking shit. Which of the following films was set during World War One? It was A. Lawrence of Arabia. The others were set during World War Two. One for the Road was the last episode of Cheers. Antonio Banderas starred in the film The 33 in 2015, and it was about Chile, or Chile as the Americans would say. It was about 33 miners that were trapped for over 2 months in a mine. Ross Kemp on Gangs, Ross Kemp in Afghanistan, and Ross Kemp in Search of Pirates. So there's Ross Kemp. Joaquin Phoenix played Johnny Cash in Walk the Line, or Folsom Prison. Folsom Prison is the song that I sang. First broadcast in 1988 and remade in 2020, Talking Heads is a series of monologues written by which playwright? It's Alan Bennett. And did you hear that? They shut down the main reactor. Will be destroyed for sure. This is madness. It was C3PO. That was my C3PO impression. The tennis round is the next round, isn't it? Or was that the last round? Did I do it in the wrong order? Sorry, I was going to do tennis next. Yes, you're right. Sorry, Sam. That was the answers to the last round. And the answers to the tennis round, for those of you that are interested, is here. There we go. The Swiss maestro was Roger Federer. Fraulein Forehand is Steffi Graf. Or Graf. The Great Dane is Caroline Wozniacki. The King of Clay was Rafa Nadal. Super Brat was John McEnroe. The Siberian Siren was Maria Sharapova. The Crocodile was Renee Lacoste. The Serbinator was Novak Djokovic. The Las Vegas Kid is Andre Agassi. And Miss Swiss is Martina Hingis. I believe those are all of your answers for tonight's quiz. Did everyone get that? I didn't miss anything. I probably didn't. There we go. I think that's everything. So, yeah, the anti-vaccinator. They should definitely call him that. There we go. So as I said, apologies for the shortness of this evening's quiz, but I hope you all enjoyed it nonetheless, and you all stay on your hangouts and Zooms and carry on to drink into the wee hours of the morning. I will be back next week with a more fully formed quiz. I was very limited on time. By the time my friends left, at around 7 o'clock, I didn't have much time to put the quiz together, and that was a choice on my part because I was enjoying myself. But it left me very little time to put together something proper. So we'll be back next week with something proper, and have a good week till then. And I will see you all again soon, looking less dishevelled and more put together. And thanks for joining me again. Yeah. Cheers, everyone. Oh, how do I stop this? He said. Now you just got to watch me try and work this out. That one.